Hey friends and fam, it's Lila
and Lulu.
and today we're going to be talking about something a little more serious than we usually do, or a lot more I guess, and that is suicide and depression rates. And we want to talk a little bit about some of the things we've gone through, because we are from two different levels of depression. She's moderate and I'm severe. So we wanted to kind of talk to you guys about that, because I know not a lot of people know like what to look for in people with depression, and a lot of kids are like not understanding what's wrong with them, and it's just that they're depressed. So we're going to give you some symptoms of depression and some things to look for if you think someone might be suicidal. And then we'll give you a hotline, which we will post right under us for the duration of the video. So let's get started.
Talk about depression first. So, depression is one of the most common mental illnesses, affecting about 6.7%. That's more than 16 million of American adults each year. So, about 20% of all teens experience depression before they reach adulthood. Every 100 minutes, a teen takes their own life due to depression. So, when I get a little stressed, since we're talking about depression, I'm going to talk a little bit about mine. When I get a little bit stressed, or a lot stressed, or I feel overwhelmed, I go into like a sleep mode and I want to sleep a lot. And that's one sign of depression. I also end up breaking down when I have depression, or when I feel overwhelmed and, sad.
For me, my depression ranges from I'm kind of sad to it's the end of the world. So it gets pretty rough, because as someone who has experienced like all these like traumatic moments in my life, and the older you get, the more they like start to come out, and you're just not sure how to deal with them, and you feel like it's the end of the world. And I know at times it might feel like you want to take your life, but it's just not something that you should do, because it's a lot harder to explain, I guess.
Depression that goes beyond sadness to the point of illness, it ends up interfering with one's ability to function. General depression symptoms includes having an irritable or depressed mood for more than 2 weeks. Like if you're sad, or if you're down, or like things just get you irritated really easily. Depression can occur to anyone at any age, to people of any race or ethnic. Depression is never a normal part of life, no matter what your age, gender, or health situation.
Okay.
Female teens develop depression twice as often as men.
Can I read something very quick before you go on? Yeah. That being said, suicide rates in males are 3.7 times higher than that of women. And that's not to say that a lot of women don't commit suicide. It's just typically when a man attempts suicide, they follow through.
So, depression causes people to lose pleasure from their daily life. It can also complicate or other medical conditions, and can even be serious enough to lead to suicide.
So I enjoy painting, but when I get severely down, suddenly I don't want to paint, and then suddenly I don't want to listen to music, and everything just seems really gray to me because I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be anywhere. I don't want to exist. So it gets really difficult. And it's really hard to pull yourself out of those situations, because, it's a state of mind, and you can't just be like, hey, I need to stop being depressed. It's just not something you can do, but you can try to ease the depression by what I've been taught is like coping skills. So reading or just like sketching or something simple, can sometimes help a lot.
And it makes it harder if you just push everything aside and act like it's not happening.
Yeah.
That's when you know that you actually need to seek professional help.
Yeah. And I feel like when people think about therapy, it's this scary doctor and you're laying down on a couch and you're telling them all your problems. It's not quite like that. We both have a therapist, and we talk about a lot of things that have happened in the past, a lot of things we're afraid to happen in the future. And just to get these things off of our chest helps so much. It's unbelievable how just talking to someone for 45 minutes to an hour can help alleviate some stress, some anxiety, and it's good to just have someone there.
Yes, and speaking of suicide, I'm gonna pass it to her, cause she's got this.
Yeah.
She's got more experience.
So, close to 800,000 people die from suicide every year, and that's one person every 40 seconds. And when I was looking up the statistics, it literally made me feel so bad because there's so many beautiful people in the world who have taken their own life, and we'll just never get to experience some things that we'll experience in our life. And life is a beautiful thing. It's not something you should take away because you feel stuck, because you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to. And it's just awful to see all these statistics. For every death by suicide, 20 other people have attempted. So for one person who dies, 20 other people are feeling like they need to. And I feel like if people just find someone to talk to, and the suicide hotline is a good line to call. And then I found out that you can text, which I'll put the numbers down. And I didn't know that you could text the hotline, which was amazing to me, because for those who don't feel comfortable talking about things out in the open, due to any situation they're in, they can just text. And that's the easiest thing to do nowadays, is text. And I know everyone's on their phones, so I feel like that'll help a lot. So what we would like to do is give you like symptoms, what to look for if you feel someone is going to commit suicide. So number 1 would be excessive sadness or moodiness, like long-lasting mood swings. And it's not just like a sudden thing where it's like suddenly one person's happy and the next thing they're sad and they're happy again. It's being happy, then angry, then sad, then all these other emotions that they're filled with, and they can't get them out in the open. So they are acting out, which is not always the best. I know I've struggled with suicide attempts, and I've been hospitalized, and that's something we'll talk about in later videos. Another thing to look for is sudden calmness. After a long period of depression, if someone goes from suddenly all upset and angry and depressed to very calm, that can be something very scary to see. Because I know for me, whenever I would think about suicide, it would be depression, calmness, and then a suicide attempt. And it's very rough for the people around you, because they never know what's going to happen. And you never know what's going to happen, because one moment you could be just attempting suicide. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And you could paralyze yourself. You could be bedridden for the rest of your life. And that's just something very scary to think about. So that's something else to look for. Withdrawal or choosing to be by themselves, which she often does. It kind of scares us all, because they're just taking themselves away from the people that care about them, and they're hiding away. They don't want to be around people. They don't want to have to think about their social situation, and it can get really rough.
Most of the time when people want to be by themselves, they get too caught up in their head. because I've caught myself multiple times. Even when they're driving me back home or driving me somewhere, I'll find myself hidden in my head, just like thinking of so many thoughts and stuff. And it gets too overwhelming, and I just want to straight up cry. It sucks, like it really does. It's best if somebody that wants to be alone, you let them be alone for a little bit, but you still offer them a hand.
I think just knowing for a lot of people that there's someone who's willing to talk to you and willing to try to understand what you're going through is a nice thing, and it's great for them, and it makes them feel so much better about the situation that they're in. Another one is changes in their personality. Oftentimes, a person considering suicide might have a sudden change in their behavior. One might care less about the way they look, about the way they smell. I know when I get severely depressed, I just don't do anything. In fact, I just lock myself in a room and I don't leave for days. And that can be really difficult and really scary for people around you because they don't understand what's quite going on. So you can reach out and maybe say, hey, I'm not feeling so good. And it's better for them to know a little bit than to just wonder why, you know?
Like I said, it's best to be with someone, even when they lock themselves in the room. You sit by the door or you follow them around and watch them, because you'll never know when things happen or when they need to talk, even through a door, or even, I don't know, through walls or something, because it's just best, because I've had my experience. We wouldn't be in this situation right now if I hadn't stuck by my sister.
Yeah, I struggled a lot. From the age of 9 until now, actually. And I think that if she hadn't been outside of our bedroom, knocking on the door, trying to get in, trying to talk to me, I think I probably wouldn't be here today. Because my family has been such a big reason that I'm still here today. And I just love them, and I love her. And that's why she's like a great person in my life. Is because we understand each other, and she knows what I've gone through. So that leads us into the next one. Dangerous self-harming behavior, such as increased drug use, self-harm, increased alcohol use, and unsafe sex. This may be a sign that they no longer value their life. You know, when you just give up and you're like, if it happens to me, it happens to me. And that's a very state of mind for someone to be in. And it's a very scary thing to see, as I've said about many of these, is this beautiful child suddenly going from the sweetest person on the earth to self-harming and hiding away, then using drugs, and it's to escape the pain. But what you can do for the best thing you can do for the people that you believe are suicidal and depressed is to reach out. As she said, it's amazing to know that someone cares and that someone wants to talk to you. Anything to say?
You also have to know about your self-value. That is something that you need to know about. Should we put a link from Joe's thing too?
Yeah.
We'll put a link from our therapist has a YouTube channel, and he's very helpful with it. He talks about self-value, how to conquer emotions and things. It's very helpful. We're going to put a link down below to,
Just check it out if you find yourself just in a really rough place. He's a very great guy to listen to, and just check it out if you want. And another thing is that oftentimes someone's suffering from like a trauma, like a death of a loved one or a pet or the loss of a job, something big in their life that has taken a negative turn. it could possibly drive them to end their life. And that's why when someone is going through stuff such as that, you should just plant yourself in there and be like, hey, I'm here and I'm here to help. I want to know, I want to help you. It's the best thing you can do. And then I only have 2 more. I feel like I'm going on, but so another thing is that making preparations. So when I would feel like I should end my life, I would go and I'd tell my sister how much I love her, and I'd tell my mom I loved her, and I'd spend time individually with everyone, because I thought that maybe if I made them feel like we had one good day together, they could remember that forever. And, you know, sometimes it becomes so much that you can't anymore. And that's understandable, but the people around you, I know this sounds like a selfish thing for me to say, is the people around you, they love you so much. And as I've said to a lot of people, is I'd rather hear about your problems than read about your death in the obituaries. Like, I believe that everyone has a right to live a beautiful life. I believe every single person on this planet deserves the best. And to take that from yourself because of something that you're feeling in the moment it's going to cause more pain. And you can live through that, and you'll be in more pain than ever. And that's the problem, is reach out to someone if you are feeling suicidal, if you are feeling depressed. Find a therapist, call the hotline. I know that your friends and your family would rather talk to you than someone find you one morning. And that is something very scary to think about, for me, was that she could find me, or my mom could find me, or anyone would find me. And that would be the last image they saw every night before they went to sleep, is me. And that's scary. So, the final one that I would like to talk about is people threatening suicide. I know oftentimes people might threaten it just to get what they want. Like, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill myself. But sometimes when people threaten suicide, it's serious. So I believe that all suicide threats should be taken seriously no matter what. So I know this has been like a lot more serious than a lot of people have bargained for. We just want you guys to know there are things to look for if you think you might be depressed, or if you feel like someone is suicidal. And if you feel as though they are suicidal, I think you should definitely reach out. And if you identify with some of the symptoms of depression, I believe that you should talk to a doctor. And, you know, it can be a really rough thing to go through at any age. And then you just kind of sometimes don't understand all these emotions you're feeling. You don't understand what you're supposed to do.
You're lost. You're confused.
Yeah. So, we would just love for you guys, like, if you feel depressed, talk to someone. If you feel suicidal, talk to someone. The suicide hotline, I know a lot of people are scared oftentimes that they're going to track your call and they're going to send the police. So, I would like to talk right quick about that. Oftentimes, they will not dispatch the police unless they feel that you are in like a severe state of mind that they can't talk you down from. Then they will ask your location to send the police. It's free to use. It's 24/7 call or text. And I think it's just a great tool for anyone to use if they're feeling like they might want to take their life. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe. And remember to like and subscribe.
And comment down below
to see what kind of content you'd like to see in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.